Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and yesterday I mentioned that I wanted to do a scaping from scratch challenge, and let me tell you, the response has been amazing. King of DIY, my buddy Joey, did a video of making aquariums out of scraps and scaping it from stuff in his yard. My buddy Biggs has made a video. My friend Alex from Tank Tested has made a video. So I figured I better get to work and actually make my tank. So today we're going to be choosing the Hardscape. Now, I know that it's a bit unfair that I have so many materials, so I thought I would spice things up a bit by saying I can only use things that are physically touching the floor. So I'm going to climb underneath some fish tank racks and we're going to pick out some scraps to scape with. Let's get started. Really kind of slim pickings as far as rocks go. Most of them are like really large rocks that I didn't use for my hill stream or I didn't use for the paludarium, and they're not particularly suitable. I'm also doing water changes. That's my corner drain, or my corner pumps. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to choose from. I think there's some more over there that we can look at. I'm looking for some of the smoother river stones, but these don't even match. However, this is just supposed to be fun, so if it turns out fugly, it turns out fugly. So this is what I've pulled together. It's really some pieces of manzanita that are way too big for a 20 long. I'm going to have to break them. There's not a whole lot of wood on the floor either, so I don't know why I made this so difficult for myself. Then I have some various locally collected rocks. Again, they're a little bit large. Either I'll have to take a hammer to them or work with what we got. And then for substrate, I have a cichlid substrate, I have a soil substrate, or I have pool filter sand. The top row tends to have algae issues, so I'm thinking I might just go with the pool filter sand. So I actually forgot that this tank already has a bit of substrate in it, which is some soil. So I am going to use the rest of this bag of Brightwell Aquatics Florin Vulcanite Rio Cafe XF. Oh, it's a different color. Awesome. Which is not going to be enough, so I think what I'm going to do is sort of what I did in the 75-gallon sand tank, which is use the soil in a spot for something like some crypts, because it'll feed them, and sand in the rest. I am just doing a great job here, because that amount of substrate was enough for about a quarter of this tank. But that's the fun of scaping with scraps, right? I'm really stoked that people are having fun with this. I hope you guys will take the challenge as well and tag me in it, or if you want to send me clips through Google Drive, maybe we can put together a video of your guys' creations as well as some of the creator creations. I'm going to get something to scoop sand and then start playing with Hardscape. I'll give you guys a close-up here in a few minutes when I start actually trying to fit some Hardscape in there. Now, one of the issues you can have when you mix substrates is that over time they'll mix together. So you have to do some sort of barrier, and with those larger rocks that I have, I think I can use them for that, to try and keep these two sides separate. And you'll notice too that I'm going to play with all my Hardscape and stuff with the tank empty of water. It's just easier. Alright, so let's see if any of those rocks actually even fit in here, and let me bring you guys in a bit closer. So this is the substrate in there. You can see this is a 20-gallon long. That's crusty and dusted and gross, but it'll be fine. Sponge filter. So I'm going to try and use one of my rocks to support or separate the substrates there, and then start adding some wood and stuff. There is not a good way to mount my camera for this. as you can see, we are up on a ladder, and this is the top row of tanks, so there's not a good way for me to film this. As you can see, this wood is quite a bit too large for this aquarium, but I like using driftwood because it means that I can attach plants to it. This is, again, manzanita, which means it will float, but I can always anchor it down with rocks. A lot of these teeny tiny pieces, you might as well just break off because they don't last in the aquarium for very long. So a lot of times, while they're very beautiful, it's kind of pointless to have it. So I try and pick pieces that have a bit more character, and these are ones that I have previously rejected. Oh my god, this barely even fits in here. So I'm just playing around with stuff. I am kind of a intuitive and an impulsive person with my scapes. I need some rocks. This is a lot harder than I thought it would be. Normally when I start a new scape, I start with materials that have inspired me, but in this case I'm using stuff that I didn't like. So I just broke that piece so it'll fit. Cut my finger in the process. Let me show you guys. So this is what we have so far. I can picture like a thicket of crypts. Maybe I'll rob from that tank. Some anubias and stuff like that, and then an open sand area here. Maybe we'll move. Well, we've got a lot of fish to choose from. This is not a particularly attractive tank, but I think I can make it beautiful with plants. So I'm just going to take this chunk that I broke off, clean out any leaves that are a bit brown, and just sort of break it into a couple of pieces. It's real easy, and then wedge it into these rocks. Now with rhizome plants like this, you don't generally plant them into the substrate. You can plant the roots, but you want to keep this rhizome out of the substrate. And we're going to collect some anubias and fill it up and see what it looks like. This whole thing has taken me maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Crypts out of the tank that's obviously very dirty now, and I'm just going to plant these in the foreground over there. Up. This little unknown crypt, I planted over here, a big thicket of the Tropica Wenti, threw some anubias and some narrow leaf in here, and I'll leave this right side mainly open. And then we will pick some fish to go in here. So here is the finished product. simple little tank. I'm not in love with it. The rocks are kind of clunky and weird shaped, but for using only things that I found on my floor, I don't think it's that bad. Now the plants, I robbed Anubias from there, Crypt from down there, and Narrow Leaf from my quarantine. I may still try and find something green to break up the brown of that rock. But what we've done here is provided open air spot for some schooling fish, a nice range of surfaces for grazers, and have planted to capacity, so hopefully the algae won't be a huge issue. So thanks to everyone who has played along. Please make sure you tag me should you make a video. I've created the playlist on my home screen in order to be able to share everyone's creations. And remember, this is supposed to be fun, lighthearted, and it is not a competition. Thank you guys, as always, for the continued support, and stay tuned for stocking this scrap art tank.